Need a more detailed report? Fine.
I got contacted 3 times, each time progressively nastier about how much my local voluntary fraternal group had donated to charities. I sent them a list of the charities and our total donations of materials and any cash. First call, they wanted exact hours worked, supplies and cash donations. Okay, I supplied all 3 sent back. Second call, this wasn't good enough, they wanted a separate list for each charity. Okay, divided them up, sent it back. Third call, snottiest call ever, what didn't I understand? They needed itemized. This just wasn't clear enough. Get it right.
Fine. We make reusable sanitary pads for school-age ladies in Liberia, and also sew different items for 3 local charities. I calculated cost of the fabrics down to the inch, of each color of fabrics, cutting times, depreciation of scissors, thread per item, assembly, sewing time, time walking to and from the cutting area to the sewing area, shoe tread depreciation, time sewing, depreciation of sewing needles, electricity, depreciation of the carpet in the room, snacks, prep and cost of lunch, beverages per glass, condiments, shopping time, gas, depreciation of vehicles on and on. I did the same list for each charity. You name it, they got it single-spaced, 9 font, pie charts, graphs. Everything 30+ pages total. Took me about 12 hours, I had a great time doing it.
I can't wait for them to open the doc. Then they have to print numerous copies for their board members, and to national as well. Don't mess with the bull baby, you'll get the horns. Fallout, I received an email. While we appreciate the thoroughness of the report, we request a condensed version, following the parameters set forth in the law books. Resent them the original report. Let's see how that goes over. Did you include 15 hours documenting requested information for report and 3 hours getting accurate information request from POSPOC?
Have you requested a list of their board members yet? You may want to set up a meeting with their board to clarify what they really need for reporting. Let the board know, since your point of contact was unable to clearly provide a listing of your reporting requirements. I'd like to go over every item to see if it is or is not needed for future reporting requirements. If you can get it set up, ask for the regulatory requirement, if any, for each. Be clear that as a volunteer organization you need to know upfront what data needs to be captured. Let them also know if they don't provide the list in a timely manner you will not be able to capture it. Yes, I'm having to do something like this right now, and the agency is asking about both gender identity and gender preference. I've let them know that we can ask, but you must accept that many will not feel comfortable sharing.
You will need to accept decline to state. Also got them to agree on working up the consent form that I get to forward to legal for approval. Grin 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 grin.
You forgot your TPS report for the cover.
I used to drive wheelchair vans back in the early 90s. I had to write an incident report. Wrote it up and turned it in. I was told they needed more detail. Okay, rewrite it. Turn it in. I was told they needed more detail. This was all handwritten. I didn't want to rewrite it again. So I wrote it as, on May 21st, 1994, at approximately 0921 hours. I, Farringham, was driving wheelchair vehicle T4. License plate less than blah blah. Northbound on. Quote, I thought my manager would come back and say, way too much detail. He said, perfect. Quote, and that's why, to this day, my coworkers grumble about my detailed emails. Because I can't summarize. Thank an incident report 30 years ago for that.
That is some serious malicious compliance to a stupid bureaucratic request. You have far more patience than me.
Due to the administrative burden of addressing your unclear and constantly evolving requests, we have decided to support another charitable organization in the future. Petty bureaucracy, or somebody's got a 2x4 up the fundament. Even with all that detail, somebody's going to be ticked off, upset, twisted out of shape enough to ask, how many breaths you took and how many liters of oxygen you used and what the relative humidity in your office was and whether you commuted to said office or something like that. But I must say that was pretty good malicious compliance. You did good. Ask them to itemize the parameters and where they can be found in each law book along with a list of each figure, chart or piece of information in your report that fails to meet the required standards. Why do all the work yourself? Share the love. Who are these people who have authority to demand an accounting? Ahaha, love that you resent the original again. This is beautiful. Shoe tread depreciation? The IRS CRA must love you. Hilarious. You have a true genius and I appreciate you. I'd have responded with something like, to whom it may concern. I have already sent you 3 different condensed reports. If those are still considered to be inadequate, then this most recent report is the most condensed the report can be while still containing the requested information. Sincerely, OP. I hope you included time, cost of creating this detailed report they demanded. Broken down just as they demanded. Who is they? Who is asking? We asked you for condensed details. That means we want to know everything. But summarized. We want it all together and that means separate reports. What don't you understand? We said shrimp. And that means jumbo. Idiot. Great malicious compliance. But it's costing you way too much. Unless you had that material at the ready. This was 2 emails too many. I'd put the onus on snooty requester to show you exactly what they expect, and share with you who the audience will be, and what the end purpose will be for this information example of the end report, and so forth. Don't be surprised if somehow, quite magically no doubt, after fielding that request to them, they'll reply that the data you've given them thus far is sufficient. Can't wait for an update. Next step is 2 pages, a cover sheet and a page with a photo or other image of you flipping them the bird. Absolutely not. The full report I sent contains all data necessary for you to prepare any condensed version you require. I consider my duties in this regard completed in full.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.